Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, B-Funk, thinking right out here in my lab where I do what I do for you. I got a nice lesson for you today. Let's go. You know how we do it. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in and receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right Thinkers mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right Thinkers Way of Life, through mental and spiritual discipline practice daily, will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission, that's what I'm on, is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal should be to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get there together. So I asked the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical. But if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. A person who knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know is dangerous, avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know thyself. And always, to my yacht, be true. I'm getting a little annoyed again. It's not a rant, but I'm trying to put a lesson together where we can simplify and understand what I keep trying to explain to you. Right thinkers, let's talk about why we don't really understand our ego. Again, I'm gonna try to explain it to you. A little different, but it's the same thing. It's your ego, and everybody have a different code name for it, whatever. What you call it don't change what it is. So I'm trying to give you an understanding of that again. I'm talking about certain people, and those people who ego is in total control over what they say and do. They don't have a clue what it is, but they do have the actions that show they really don't know that their ego is in control. And most people with big egos, self confidence, yeah, that's what the ego pumps you up. So it's always good for that. But why is it, and this is the reason why, that people, I can get a haircut, the biggest egos, people with the biggest egos, are always in position of power because the ego drives them. That's why. But when they get in position of power, like my teacher tells me, bullshit to get you to the top, it just won't keep you there. Gave us a story about that. Yeah, good name. I ain't got time for that. But that's the concept. I agree 100%. Okay. Why? If you're ego driven, it's going to get you where you want to go. Just won't keep you there. That's why. I practice our ancient Egyptian philosophy, Maya, Shita Netta, Semi Tawi. I just put my twist in it, so I call it right thinking philosophy. That's what it is. Mine's now. I mastered their philosophy. I put my twist to it and make it mine. So it's all the same thing. Again, what you call it, don't change what it is. Watch this. Ego, perfect example. I know better than most that I was in position of power and I was an ego maniac. So I know, trust me, not from what I heard, not from what I saw. No, no, from what I experienced. So I'm speaking from experience when I'm talking ego. Understand that? We call it self confidence and oh no, it's ego. Again, the ego. Whatever name you give it, we still gonna come back to what I said ego. Moving on. My ego got me in and out of a lot of trouble. Again, it'll get you out of some stuff, but it's always gonna get you into some stuff. I didn't particularly want to, do. That I caused again on myself through what? The ego. Do that, man. Ego is ignorant of what's right. It's going to do what it wants to do. So unless you control it, you corral it, you're going to have problems with it and don't even know it. Okay, that's the problem. Now, Dr. Bruce Lipton, my man, everything I already knew about the ego. So, from learning our ancient Egyptian philosophy, I figured that out, understood all that, got that covered. I'm hearing him tell the same thing. So I'm loving that. Why? He's a doctor. He don't study all that. He's telling me something that I already know. How about that? And what's this? But he enlightened me to a lot of stuff that, like I say, some stuff you have ideas about, like, little dots. But when you can connect them, you get the whole picture. That's what Dr. Bruce Lipton did for me with this ego thing. I already had it figured out. He just made it a lot better. Why? I'm gonna tell you right now. He put it perfectly. Our ego is what? The enemy in us. Bam! Thank you, Doc. I learned the power of what? The modern day concepts of the ego from Dr. Lipton. But it matches my philosophy from the ancient Egyptians exactly. Just different metaphor, different point, but it's the same thing. Again, what's this? He showed how the ego grows where? In us. In our identity with ourself. Hence, the lower self is natural, it's instinctive to say I, me. That's the ego self. That's all it knows. Your higher self, which is we try to get you to understand, when you know thyself, that's the God that's in you that you have to recognize for yourself, not believe it. No, don't be sold to that belief nonsense. You can have your own God experience. So now you can practice whatever you believe in, but all you gotta do is practice it and live it, and you'll see if it works or not. Moving on, trust me. It's a philosophy. That means you have to practice it when? Daily. The ego self, watch this. We gave the name again, Seth. I heard people call it Seth, Satan, Sutan. All this, yeah, same thing. God tell you, same way God go by many names. Guess what? His opposition with, and see, Seth ain't really God's opposition. He has his own God, but the concept in you is that part about you that wants what it wants. That's lower nature, beastly nature. They already had that covered a long time ago. Excuse me. But the way Dr. Bruce Lipton put it in is right on point. And watch this. Your ego self, set, comes naturally. Why? Because that's who you identify yourself with. That's not nobody's problem. It's when it's starting to what? Control you, where it's telling you, no, that's not good. You're going to end up in bad situations. They're called fetters. Okay. What's that? Self-inflicted situations that you're responsible for because you caused them on yourself. And that's what the ego will constantly do over and over and over. The ego self comes naturally. It's who you know or believe you are. Me, I. And that is. It's a belief. That's what they want you to know. The ego self will what? Will run the higher self if it's what? Ignorant of itself. And that's what it's doing. Haru will fight tooth and nail against the lower self. But you have to understand that you part of Haru too. Why? They're both in you. That's the moral dilemma that that Mayat shows you. Good, evil, right, wrong. Don't make a difference to her. That's just where it is. You got to be the deciding factor. If you make ignorant choices in your life because your ego, that's your problem. Moving on. And that's a lot of our problem. And a lot of us don't have a clue. So you can't help somebody's problem when they don't even know what the problem is within themselves. You see it, they don't. Moving on. So that's another psychological issue we need to be dealing with. Yes, our ancient ancestors knew the self. Knowledge was what? The one true knowledge. Why? I could care less about whatever's going on anywhere If it ain't pertaining to me, don't make a difference to me. For why? Knowing thyself puts me in a predicament or situation where I'm not interested in anything that don't pertain to me. Simple as that. That includes any person, family member, friend. Don't make a difference to me. When you get at that level, not that you don't care about nobody. No, no, I just take my emotions out. It ain't about how I feel. I'm gonna do what's right. Simple as that. So, and your ego won't allow that. Your ego is not your friend. Your higher self is it. If you are a me, I person, at the end of this egotistic life, you will die. And what keeps him living on is the spirit that's in me that keeps him alive. And this picture that I refer to every day. Okay, but he's still here in spirit and memory. Cool. But that's ancestral worship. If you were a good person, the people won't let you die. Why? They keep you around in conversation. They reward you every year. Your birthday come up. They give you a little memorial. So that's how you live on forever. Moving on. Sorry about that. Little lesson. Remember, this is all lessons of your life. Now, watch this. Your ego self don't and won't and can't enlighten you. It don't desire nothing. Your aspirating part is the Haru in you. Your higher self wants to know itself. You got to go through your lower self to get there. Get the concept in the first ring on the self mastery is what? Your ego self. Your ego won't enlighten you. It won't inspire you or educate you. It will just do. Some people, we know them people, they down for whatever. It's good. Okay. It's good. Okay. Let's do it. Okay. Long as there's something in it for them, they call the bandwagon riders. They're gonna jump on. Okay. Now, I showed you the body with your head, your higher self, your lower self, with the extra appendage that's set in Haru. In the same body, which is me and you. Again, I let Set run the show for a long time. Because, again, following. When I started to lead, I put Set behind me. My man, yo, I call you when I need you. Okay? That's what the ego should be. And what? A servant. Servant to who? You. It shouldn't run you. You shouldn't be servant to your ego self. A lot of us don't know it. That's my point. So let's get right back. Your ego is you. Your envy. Excuse me. Your enemy within you. Just like God. Your higher self is also in you. That's Haru. But you got to figure that out. Hence, know thyself. This is why we have sages. This is why we have preceptors, priests, priestesses, pastors, whatever. Why? To enlighten you, hopefully educate you and inspire, motivate you to be your best self by what? The practice that you choose to follow. That's my goal for Right Thinkers. I got nothing else but intention to get you to know thyself. And by hook or crook, my goal is to get you to make that point or have that point known for yourself. Moving on. Well, yeah. Okay. Now, guess what? Set is the enemy of Haru, naturally. Why? But they had to come together. Why? Natural enemies. It ain't gonna work. They both what? Are in what? You. So what are you going to do? Again, back to the decision making. If you have no knowledge on right and wrong, good, bad, you can't make a good decision when it comes time for that. That's what the ego don't allow you to do. Educating yourself, studying, practicing what you're learning, that's the higher self. That ain't the ego self. The ego self said, man, I don't know why you do that, man, just because it's cool. Okay? So you got to make that fight and you got to put the ego self in check. He's always in the other opposition to you trying to do something good for yourself. That's what makes him your enemy. Set is the enemy of who? Haru. And they both, again, see, they both in you. Again, the devil ain't outside you. I'm just inside you. The devil made me do it. Maya is giving you duality, a choice, not a commandment. No. I'm going to show you right from wrong. You make the decision. Why? Because you're gonna be responsible. That's karma. Oh, that's it. Yeah. Oh, your karma take care of that. So whatever decision you make, there's the consequence and behind your action. I read karma. Your actions, and you're gonna get reaction. You reap what you sow. Same thing. Moving on. Try to make it simple for you so you can understand. I ain't trying to talk over you, I'm trying to talk to you. Your ego, again, will kill you. Oh, metaphorically and conceptually. Watch this. Let me see if you can understand this concept now. It will kill you. It killed Asar. What? Conceptually, his brother. Okay, it will kill you too. What? Haru? He tried to have sex with him. Your ego self is not good for you. You need to put him in the position of servitude, not leadership. Your ego will be the death of you. Mm-hmm. Them guys who just don't care. Yeah, okay, don't worry. You looking to get killed? Somebody kill you? Somebody address that issue. You really badass? Go ahead. There's somebody always better than you. So that's ego. When ego go, oh, sit back and watch the fur fly. Okay, that's nature. It's in us. It's gonna happen. Let it out. In prison, that's what's all based on. Your ego will be the death of you if what? If you let it control you. Trust me on that one. It's gonna lead you right down death road. Why? Because that's what your destiny is. You ain't trying to better yourself, so you're gonna come back. You're going right to the reincarnation line. Trust me. Where we at? Yeah. You see those Billy badasses. There you go. Hyped up all on testosterone. No, that's again ego. Yeah, the whole that's all ego. When you push me to the limit, my ego gonna rise up and be like the Hulk. Well, I'm about to tear some stuff up. That's the ego self. It don't care. When you get to that point, they call it angry, upset. Well, you push it to the limit, whatever you want to call it. Again, that's the ego lashing out. That's what it does. Okay. The smallest animal got fight in them. You corner a mouse. Okay, maybe a little, but at a certain point, I'd have had enough. The ego don't stop fighting against what? Your higher self. So you gotta put your foot on his neck and keep him there. Like in Enter the Dragon when Bruce Lee had the snake. He didn't think that, still doing what he's doing. Yeah, keep him there until what? You need him. Put him in the bag and scare the hell out of somebody else. Moving on. Let's wrap this up. Hope you get the concept. If you are run by your ego, you're not going to have friends. You're not going to have a good working relationship. You're not going to be nothing but alone. Moving on. Your ego is jealous of what? Its own self. That's like the snake eating its tail. A snake will bite women. And I just found out something again. Information. Watch the snakes. When the snake was going for the white mice, right? He's a white albino snake. He went to bite the mouse and he bit himself. And because they teeth is when they bite into something, they can't just let go. They can't just the other teeth serrates and it locks in. So he can't let his own self go. That's why when he bites his own tail, he's stuck. Why? He can't get off. I just learned that. So little tidbit about the snake. All right. And that's your ego self. That's what it does. It can't resist. When it does it, it just can't stop. All right. So understand this. Your ego self is jealous of itself. Why? His brother, which is the soul, which is the Asar, which is a good guy. Everybody liked him. The ego want to be like, but it want to be like on his turn. It don't work that way. They showed you the movie, but they put it into movie metaphorical form. But we already know we create these. They're not real people. Sometimes we forget about that. So I just want to make sure you know. Now, it's a perfect metaphor. There you go. If the people of the Bible followed the Bible, knew that Bible was metaphors and allegorical stories, I wouldn't have a problem. Why? Because they wouldn't run out here thinking these people actually existed. They can't find a damn grave for none of them. Come on, man. Stop that nonsense. Move on. It's a perfect metaphor. Why? To understanding thyself. From the inside, they give you information that you can use internally and manifest for yourself. That's the Bible job, and it does it for certain people, but it got a lot of misconceptions that they don't clear up. Moving on. Now, if you find yourself, by yourself, you know why? That's because of your ego self. That me, it's going to be by itself. If you ain't willing to share, give, and be, you're going to be by yourself. The ego wants that. Okay? If that ain't what you want, change that. If that ain't what you got a problem with, continue to live off your ego and die. Move on. Last one. Appreciate you tuning in. Watch this. You can call him devil, but it's still you. So that makes you the devil. The devil's anybody in opposition to what's right, God. If you in opposition to what's right, you the devil. Whenever you do wrong, that's a sin. You missed the mark. You didn't get it right. So the punishment for sin was death. So your ego will die. Okay? Your lower nature, aka ego, is who you believe you are. Again, don't put all your eggs in a belief. Why? Not even yourself. Because that thing you believe in ain't who you really are. Your higher self, what? That's knowing thyself. Get the concept? See how it works? Now, don't believe you are what? Haru is what? Knowing who you are. Difference. Totally. In the person, the people who practice that, you see the difference. I just see a bunch of sets running around here. And yes, your ego is the devil. Okay? It means being in opposition to what's good, aka God is good, ego is bad. Your higher self, God, lower self, ego. So they both are in you. You can't, nope, it's inside you. Understand that. And you are responsible for it. Now, the phrase, the devil made me do it, yeah, it's so true. Everything that you do under to cloak the darkness and sneaking deceitful, that's devilish. Hello? So the more sneaking deceitful you are, the more devilish acts you commit, and the more transparent you are, the less devilish acts you got to what? How? You're transparent. Moving on. So, the phrase the devil made me do is so true. Why? This is you. Some of y'all just do what you want to do and think nobody's going to know. That ain't the right thing to do. That's you doing you. Again, serving yourself. You can serve God or you can serve yourself. Higher self, lower self. Not thyself. This is thyself, the higher self. And let me wrap it up. I put my ego in what? Service mode to my higher self when I found what? Thyself. Enlightenment. That's what it's all about. And now my ego, what? Serves me. He ain't went nowhere. I just keep him in the service mode. That's the difference. If I need him, he ready to do his job. Why? He don't care. Simple. Now, wrapping it up. Yeah, we all have God and the devil in us. Again, higher and lower nature. The higher nature is God, good. The lower nature is you, self, the ego. They knew that a long time ago. I went to Egypt to get the concept that they lived by for thousands of years in harmony amongst each other. I got that. The rest of that nonsense, I really don't pay attention to. But in closing, I hope you got the lesson. Your ego will destroy you if you let it. Control the ego. Rule one before self-mastery. If you can't do that, you ain't ever going to self-master yourself because the ego will continue to run your lower self. Moving on. In closing, right thinkers, man, you all live to be 100. And me 100 minus a day. So I never know that right thinkers like you passed away. I'll be back.